While Kolkata's history is ancient and thrilling, the city's heritage would be incomplete without mentioning the iconic Howrah Bridge. Spanning the Hooghly River, this bridge connects Howrah and Kolkata. The engineering method used to construct it left the entire world astonished upon its completion. Remarkably, this massive structure is supported by only 2 pillars, one on each bank of the river, with no pillars placed in the riverbed itself. Even more astonishing is the fact that not a single nut or bolt was used in its entire construction. Despite this, the bridge has stood intact and undamaged for nearly 8 decades. During World War II, between 1942 and 1943, Japan launched numerous attacks on Kolkata, targeting the Howrah Bridge as well. Yet, miraculously, the bridge survived these assaults. Every day, around 100,000 vehicles and over 150,000 people cross it, making it one of the busiest bridges in the world. By the mid-18th century, the British had brought all of India under their control. To consolidate their rule and expand trade, they began developing major Indian cities. As transportation evolved, with the advent of railways, the British constructed lines between Bombay, Maharashtra, in 1853, and Howrah, Bengal, in 1854 to accelerate exports. At that time, Bengal was the British stronghold, and Kolkata was the capital of British India, the hub from which all trade was managed. Consequently, the British prioritized building the first railway lines in Bengal. Although the Howrah railway station was established in 1854, its construction did not fully resolve the commercial challenges faced by the British. The Hooghly River stood as a major obstacle between Kolkata and Howrah. The British had numerous factories in Howrah, making the transport of goods by ship across the river highly problematic. Furthermore, the heavy volume of shipping traffic meant that reaching Kolkata consumed a great deal of time and money. The Hooghly River posed challenges for the general public as well. Crossing from one bank to the other required a constant reliance on boats. This issue intensified significantly after the construction of Howrah Station, as everyone, from locals to foreigners, had to cross the river by boat to catch their trains. Boat capsizing accidents occurred frequently. Consequently, the British sought a permanent solution and planned to construct a bridge over the river. A committee was formed in 1855 to oversee this planning and produced various bridge designs, none of which were accepted. In 1862, George Turnbull, the chief engineer of the East India Railway Company, was tasked with building a bridge over the Hooghly. Although he began planning immediately upon receiving the government directive, construction based on his plans never commenced. Later, in 1871, the British government passed the Howrah Bridge Act and handed over the responsibility of construction to Bradford Leslie, the chief engineer of the East India Company. Leslie proposed the construction of a pontoon bridge. The design allowed the bridge to be opened in the middle when necessary, enabling large steamers to pass through without damaging the structure. The government favored the pontoon bridge concept. A pontoon bridge is essentially a floating structure, supported by elements like pontoon boats. Rather than being fixed to the ground like a traditional bridge with pillars, it rises and falls with the water level. This pontoon bridge was constructed across the river to facilitate the movement of pilgrims attending the Kumbh Mela in India. Work on the bridge's construction commenced in accordance with the orders. The components were shipped from Britain to India and assembled in Kolkata. After overcoming numerous challenges, engineers finally readied the bridge for traffic in 1874. The pontoon bridge measured approximately 1,528 feet in length and 62 feet in width, featuring a 7-foot wide pathway for public use. It was opened to the public on October 17, 1874. Whenever large ships passed along the Hooghly River, the bridge would be opened in the middle. Its construction made travel between Howrah and Kolkata significantly easier, with hundreds of thousands of people crossing it almost daily. However, the bridge gradually began to weaken due to the continuous strain of bearing loads exceeding its capacity. Moreover, the bridge had to be opened 24 times a day, causing severe traffic congestion on both sides. Yet several decades passed in this manner. Meanwhile, Howrah Station expanded significantly, leading to an increased volume of people crossing the bridge while the bridge's condition continued to deteriorate. At that time, Kolkata was not only the capital of British India but also the country's economic hub, drawing crowds from various regions. This surging crowd caused damage to the pontoon bridge. Finally, in 1905, the British authorities took note of the bridge's poor condition. The Port Commission inspected it and submitted a report to the government recommending the construction of a new bridge. The following year, in 1906, the Port Commission formed a committee that devised plans for 6 different types of bridges. Considering the heavy traffic, the decision was made to construct a floating bridge. However, political unrest erupted in Bengal at that very time. In July 1905, Lord Curzon issued the order for the partition of Bengal, sparking a massive movement across the region that brought the bridge construction project to a halt. Work remained stalled for several years. Then came 1911, when the British decided to shift the capital from Kolkata to Delhi, a move that created yet another obstacle to the bridge's construction. Subsequently, the outbreak of World War I in 1914 diverted the British administration's entire focus to the war effort, causing further delays to the project. Consequently, in 1917, the old pontoon bridge was patched up to keep operations running. However, the bridge was in such a precarious state that it risked imminent collapse under any increased load. To address this, a committee of engineers, known as the Mukherjee Committee, was formed in 1921 under the leadership of R.N. Mukherjee, a renowned Bengali industrialist and architect, to oversee the construction of a new bridge. At that time, Mukherjee ran a company called Martin Limited, through which he had previously undertaken construction projects for the Victoria Memorial and Belur Math. The British had complete faith in R.N. Mukherjee's work. After securing permission from the British authorities, Mukherjee submitted a report to the new Howrah Bridge Commission in 1922, which led to the enactment of the new Howrah Bridge Act. In 1926, the committee recommended the construction of a specific type of hanging bridge, a suspension bridge. Alongside the planning phase, tasks such as recruiting workers, collecting taxes, and acquiring land were initiated. 4 more years passed in this manner. Subsequently, in 1930, the Good Committee was formed to determine the most suitable type of bridge for the river. After extensive analysis, the Good Committee proposed building a balanced cantilever suspension bridge at the site. They prepared a design for the cantilever bridge and submitted it to the committee, which then invited global tenders for the project. Ultimately, the contract was awarded to a British firm, Cleveland Bridge and Engineering Company Limited. In 1935, the government amended the new Howrah Bridge Act, and in 1936, Cleveland Bridge and Engineering Company commenced construction. A local Kolkata firm, Braithwaite Byrne and Jessup Construction Company Limited, was selected as the subcontractor for the steelwork. Excavation work for the bridge's foundation began on the banks of the Hooghly River. Constructing the foundation took approximately 2 years, and work on the rest of the structure began in 1940. Approximately 26,500 tons of steel were required for the construction. Like the earlier pontoon bridge, the materials were originally intended to be sourced from Britain. However, due to World War II, Britain could supply only 3,000 tons of steel. Consequently, Tata Steel stepped in to provide around 23,000 tons of steel to ensure the project continued. After 4 years of tireless effort, the bridge was finally completed in 1942. At the time, it was the 3rd largest cantilever bridge in the world. What makes this bridge truly iconic is its engineering, Not a single nut or bolt was used to join the steel plates. The entire structure was assembled solely using metal rivets and welding. Remarkably, the bridge stands supported by 2 pillars, each 280 feet high, located at the riverbanks, with a span of approximately 1,500 feet between them. There is absolutely no intermediate support between these 2 pillars. It is this unique structure that draws millions of people to the bridge. However, at that time, this massive bridge was opened without any formal inauguration ceremony. The reason was that World War II was underway, and the British feared a potential Japanese attack on Kolkata. On December 20th, 1942, that fear became a reality. Japanese warplanes suddenly appeared over Kolkata at night and began bombing the area surrounding the Howrah Bridge. Although the nearby vicinity suffered significant damage, with large craters forming in the ground, the Howrah Bridge itself miraculously survived. 2 years after the end of World War II, in 1947, India gained independence from British rule, and ownership of the Howrah Bridge was transferred to India. Initially named the New Howrah Bridge, it was renamed Rabindra Setu on June 14, 1965, in honor of the poet Rabindranath Tagore. Yet, to this day, people continue to know it simply as the Howrah Bridge. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next episode. Thank you.